Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. We are in the shop today. This is my John Deere 755 compact utility tractor. It's in a tremendous amount of pieces and we're trying to make it more of a single unit. Peep the mess, peep the professionalism. It's gonna be something. I don't know if we'll have it running on this one or not, but hopefully a little closer. Chilly, it's like 20 degrees outside. But we're rocking a pretty comfortable 40 right now. We got the Vever diesel heater up and going. I had this brand, that brand. Never could get it to work. Bought myself the Vever one, running off my Blue Eddy battery. That's working like a champ. Bring her up to working height real quick. I don't have a whole lot of time to start off with just today, but the goal, what I'd like to get done today, is the rest of the flywheel assembly all done. The new engine mounts on, and at least get it sitting in the frame. And then Monday, seeing what this big storm brings. So if you're new to the channel, the whole reason we ended up having this engine out is the rear main seal was leaking. The reason it was leaking was because the engine mounts had failed and it was just doing whatever it wanted in there and just wallered her out, bud. So we had to get that replaced. And since we had it out, it quickly escalated into the ever common, well, we're here, we might as well stage. And we ended up taking it all the way down to the block, put new pistons, rings, bearings in. They didn't look terrible, but we were there, you know. We got new OEM Yanmar injectors and the rebuild kit from Area Diesel Service, which is fantastic. And not only are we just trying to get this thing better than it was, because it is a fantastic, reliable little machine, we're also just trying to learn a little bit along the way. This is only the second time I've ever rebuilt an engine, and I will and have made mistakes. In fact, in the previous video, I made a hilarious mistake that some of you caught, and we'll have to be addressing that today as well. So this is the isolator that I took off. You can see she's pretty, she's wallered out. Once the engine mounts gave out, and I wasn't paying attention, didn't notice that. It ate that out over time. This is one I picked up off of a used tractor. Still seems to be in somewhat decent shape. That's what we're gonna run. So 3 of these are sleeved through, and 3 of them are threaded. The 3 that are threaded, threads go towards the drive shaft. By the way, this is your disclaimer, not a how-to, not a mechanic, just a guy working on his own stuff. Let's see if we can find the torque spec for that. It's not on the Yanmar, so maybe it's on the John Deere. Because it's a Yanmar engine, I have a Yanmar tech manual for the engine itself, but then as we start getting these components that tie into the tractor, sometimes they'll show up on the John Deere side of things. If you're working on this thing, there's a Facebook group called John Deere. It's like 655, 755, 855. It's like all the 55s in a row. It's a very long name, but appropriate because that's what it is. And they've got all the tech manuals in their file section. Also, people that just know what they're talking about, as opposed to me that's just making it up, right? Some knowledgeable people on there. If you got a tractor like this, that is the place to go. We're just going to run it snug all the way around so that it can seat itself all the way up against there. And then we'll torque it. Okay. So that's ready to attach to the drive shaft. Next thing I want to tackle is go ahead and get these engine mounts put on. So these are OEM engine mounts. They do have the exact same part number, except one is black in paint, it's green in paint. Came from the same place. They make aftermarket these if a fellow wants or is so inclined, but I got the OEM ones. So these go underneath, the engine sits on it like that, and those 4 little holes, it gets riveted like that. I even got OEM rivets. I don't know, we spent the big bucks on this. The whole $1, all of it. Maybe this takes a bigger rivet gun. I'm having a hard time getting this to go enough. Okay. Oh. Okay. There it went. Seems excessive. How close was I to eating that engine? Pretty close. Felt pretty close. Felt really close. Maybe I should have got a bigger rivet gun. It is the biggest size on here, so it's probably maxing. Okay. Yeah, be careful. You don't want to get that thigh meat in there and smash, you know, your thumbs too. It's just, there's a lot that can go wrong. Okay. Yep. Okay. Luckily the back ones are just bolt on. Same thing. Here's part number for the back one. So you can see the old one here. She is just shot. These were broken. I've got, well, the rivets is what was broken. But the rubber's all just clapped out too. There's just not a lot left of them. And you can see on this one, the bolts are still there, but the mount itself, the whole thing is gone. These little ears broke off. Nothing left. It was just floating around, doing whatever it wanted, all willy-nilly like. There's what's left of one of them, sitting on the bottom side like that. So I'll apologize in advance. This video is going to be a little bit different than the other videos. Probably, there's a chance, just a little bit shorter. Most of you probably know, but in case you don't, we had a pretty severe ice storm here the past few days. The snow itself is absolutely gorgeous. However, the ice is absolutely devastating. We were very fortunate. Our power cut off around 2:30 in the morning, but it was back on about 1 that afternoon. Of course, we are very lucky that we live in an area that is covered by an electric co-op, so they actually believe in right-of-way maintenance and nice infrastructure. They do a really good job with it. Southern Indiana Power, and when we do have outages from major events, it is normally on very quickly. They do a phenomenal job. However, the people that live where I work are not so fortunate. There are tens of thousands without power, and it is it's not good. I don't know how else to say it. It's pretty devastating. We get these every so often. People ask natural disasters, what do you got in the Midwest? Tornadoes and ice storms. Those are probably our two biggest. I will say though, this is not a partnership video or promotional for Blue Eddy, but I just kind of want to brag about it a little bit. I'm pretty pumped the way this turned out. The whole reason we went with the Blue Eddy system over at the shop is because it was portable. And when the power went out, I just came over here, I shut off my solar disconnect, I disconnected everything from the shop with the quick connects on the Blue Eddy system, packed it over to the house, and had 3,000 watts of juice at the house to charge phones, a heated blanket, a lamp with some LED lights on it. It was phenomenal. And then when I'm ready to need it over here, since we have power, we just hook it right back up. It actually worked pretty well, and it's kind of nice. We didn't really want to have to use it because that means something bad happened, but it did work well for our liking. But what that ice does, you can see it just accumulates on these trees, and then it drags these old trees down, any old dead trees, and drags them down, and they end up falling on the power lines and just breaking everything. And it just takes a tremendous amount of effort. There's a state of emergency. So if you were affected by it, I hope you're staying safe, and I hope you're staying somewhat warm. Remember, generators produce CO. So if you're running a generator anywhere close to your house, it doesn't take a lot for that gas to get into your home. So make sure you got a CO detector somewhere close. They definitely save lives. I don't know. I just hope you're hanging in there. We're counting our lucky stars, honestly. We got pretty lucky where we're living out here in the country. We did do some road plowing the other day with the 304. I didn't get any video of that. And I'm pretty fortunate that I got this little shop. Speaking of CO detectors, I run one in here whenever we're running the diesel heater. We should be okay, but anything that has a combustion cycle can certainly put off things we don't want to breathe, so we do keep it handy. So the next thing we got to do, we want to get the starter mounted, and we want to get this little flywheel shroud, protection ring, whatever you want to call it. It goes right here around the flywheel, and you get that on, and I think at that point we're in a position where we can set that down into the tractor and then start doing the accessories. Let's see if we can get this starter mounted back on. It's been so long since we took it apart, I can't quite remember how all of it goes together. But so that is bolted up. Those studs are tightened all the way into where they bottom out on the plate. And then those nuts are tightened down. And then these nuts will come back off because they help hold that shroud on, if I remember correctly. But I might not remember correctly, so. So that just slides on. Like so. There is a torque spec for these starter bolts. Can't remember what it is. So I got all my shroud bolts in, and then 2 on the bottom. I think we're okay to go ahead and set this in here now. Gonna have to push it over while we drop it. That's probably okay. Maybe drop's not the word I should use. I think I had a sledder crash into my building. It's okay. Before we slide it back the rest of the way it needs to go, let's see if we can get drive shaft connection made here. Just kidding. We're gonna take the engine back out because we put something on backwards, so that's good. That's neat. You know, I saw that in the manual and it said make sure you have this, and I was like, could it really matter that much? Yeah, it does. So on the isolator, it says in the manual that when you put it on, make sure the threaded part of that is towards the engine. I thought, why would it matter? Well, I'll show you what matters. The bolts are shouldered, and well, once it hits there, it runs out of thread, and we're too far out, so can't get the bolt all the way in. That's okay. Just flip it around, I guess. Well, we learned something there. We learned that the tech manual actually knows what it's talking about. Threaded sides towards the engine. And then put it back in. Nice and gentle, perfect. Then we'll just make that connection down there, and I mean, you get it. Bolts go in holes. In a completely believable turn of events, and sticking with the do everything twice theme, gotta pop that starter back off because you can't get the bolt in. Cool. At least the week is sticking to the theme. That's good. How boring would it be if everything went right every day, you know? We couldn't have that. It's gotta... Well, if it's worth doing once, it's worth doing twice, you know? So the starter's back on. Mounting bolts are all torqued down. That's nice. Let's get this daggone thing out of the way, and maybe an intake and exhaust. Handy dandy. See my situation with the return lines? These are snugged how I like them, but my return lines don't line up, and I don't know if, I don't know, that seems goofy. So I'm just gonna loosen this nut on the top and see if I can't spin it how I need it. Sure, why not? Look at that. Huh? And we'll just snug it back. It's just got a copper crush ring underneath it, so well, it's gonna be a miracle if this thing runs. It might be easiest to put that return line on there while we got the intake off. I just bought some brand new hose, and we'll just so we're gonna do the exhaust next. I'm excited to see how many times this takes. What I do remember is this has to slide around before this goes on. I remember that much. We're a little bit ahead, probably not a lot. Let's see if I can get this old gasket worked off of here. We got a new one to put on. Try to get this off in one piece so we don't have as much to clean up. There we go. What up, chilly lady? What do you got going on?
Huh?
What's that?
Cable set. Inflatable snow tube.
Yeah. Super magical. Now somewhere there's an air compressor. Hold on. I think that's it right there. Okay. Let me get my gloves out of my truck and I'll go with you guys. Let's take a little sled break real quick. What do you think of this rig? The trees will stop you. The ducks are mocking us. I don't know. Sit on it. Hold on. How am I going?
No, no.
Oh, you don't think so?
Oh, maybe.
I think this is okay.
Alright.
I think the other way.
Ready, guys?
Hold on. Wait.
Ready?
Oh, that's fine.
Set. Go!
No. Oh, I don't like this very much. No, it's too fast. Oh, no. There's a little snow. It's so fast. There's a cliff at the wood line there, so. Alright, give that tube a whirl.
I'm kind of scared.
It doesn't hurt as much.
As much?
Not as much, yeah.
Wrong way! The way that...
I did the other way, so the handles are towards the front, but I don't know what the right way or wrong way is, to be honest.
No, because look, that's the back. That's okay. This is the right way, guys. It's not. Totally straight, right? Ready?
Dealer's choice, probably. Watch your foot. Let's give the old Lifetime a try.
Are you ready?
Hold on.
Ready?
Lily, heads up.
Put that way!
No. It's too fast. Yep, we're okay. We're okay.
This is the best snow we have ever had.
Yeah,
It is
for sledding.
absolutely the best snow we've ever had. Ever.
You're good. All right, bye. There are a lot of things in life that remind you that you're not as young as you used to be. That's one of them. Also reminded that I have a thoracic and it hurts. But the memories, you know, what are you gonna do? All right, we do have a new gasket for this as well. Well, the book shows 226 inch-pounds for the exhaust, which is around 19 foot-pounds, because my smaller one doesn't go up to 226. So. Can't get this gasket slid in. If I'm ever in a job interview and they say, "What's your biggest flaw?" It's setting something down and remembering where that was 5 seconds ago. Put our exhaust up there. Now that's looking okay. I think we're all right. A little lube on that. Before we tighten those 4 nuts down, we definitely need to get this bolt into this bracket started over here. That way we're not fighting it. So next I'm going to go ahead and slide this shiny new water pump on. If you remember our previous water pump that we took off, it doesn't even spin, and I ran the heck out of this thing. So it spins and then it, that can't be. Probably why the thing was squealing all the time. One of the reasons anyway. Oh, hey. This is one of the few things we're putting on that is not OEM. But it had good reviews and everybody liked the quality of it. And it looks pretty decent. And gaskets and the O-ring. This little guy right here. That slides in there. And you can see the groove for the O-ring. Apparently one end of the bag is just open. Comes that way. No idea where the O-ring went. Surprised you can't find it on that shop floor, Mike. It's so clean. I know. Normally stuff just sticks out so well. I got it. It's okay. Just gotta trying to watch that O-ring, make sure it actually slides in and doesn't roll. Why would you go in that hole? Give her some taps with a dead blow for a little encouragement. Put a couple bolts in here and maybe pull it in. We'll just have to really keep an eye on it. Make sure that O-ring is doing what it's supposed to do and we're not cutting it or rolling it off. I don't trust that situation. There it goes. Cut it. Dang. Ended up cutting it. So dig through my O-ring kit, see if I can find something similar. Looks about right. Nope, cut that one too. Daggone it. This technique looks ridiculous, but is it in all the way? Oh, it's close. Okay, hold on. Oh. Cut. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was closer to progress though. That was the closest shot we've had yet. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave it there for now. Cut it again. I'm going to take those O-rings back to the house and put them inside. Maybe they're just so cold they're not malleable enough to get into where they need to go. That's about the only thing I can come up with that. Oh, I told you I made a mistake on the previous time I worked on this. Let me show you. I'll also show you the one casualty we had from the ice storm. It's a hoot. You're going to love it. I was setting the valve lash. I was like, man, that thing is way out of whack. You know, she's just not right. And somebody left a funny comment. They said, gosh, Mike, there's so much play in that valve lash. It's almost like the valve caps aren't on. Well, you're right. They're not. They're right there. Yeah, that's fun. Not a big deal, though. We can take that valve cover off. Not going to hurt anything. Loosen it up, put the valve caps on. setter is new, so that should be good. Let me show you the casualty we had. Look at that. Classic ice storm casualty. No worries though, now you just got it. You just shove your hand down in there. Try to find what you're feeling for. There it is. And well, we open her up. But we're pretty close to getting the 755 up and going. Might as well stick with it for at least one more video. I think we can probably have her up and going in the next video. Fingers crossed. And at least work in the shop and take some of the chill off. That's where I'm at. Can't thank you guys enough for watching. I hope you're okay wherever you're at. I know it hasn't been the best week for a lot of us, but you know, hopefully you're hanging on. That's just all we can do sometimes. I'll catch you on the next one.